As usual, we're your host, Cody, and wonderful co-host, Jason.
Oh,
And we're really excited to do another episode of Wheel of Time and talking about all of that. We missed last week due to me and my crazy school schedule, but we'll double up this time and get a couple episodes in.
yes,
But
we will.
first, sorry, go ahead.
I said, yes, we will, as we are getting close to the season finale.
Yes, I am. But before we get to all that, we'll switch over to news and fantasy and sci-fi and all that.
All right,
I'm
so I'll crack my knuckles on this one.
yeah.
Fantasy news. I'm just going to try to go through this real quick because there's quite a bit. Biggest one I think is the WGA strike has come to an end with the WGA massive win for them. For me, I think the biggest win is the AI aspect of it, like the fact that the companies are not going to force them to use AI, but even if the company does decide to use like some AI generated idea, they have to let the writer know going forward. Like they have to let them know that this idea came from AI, and it's even up to the writer's discretion whether or not they want to use Chat GPT to like almost like a Google search engine kind of thing. But it's all coming back down to the writers. And one of the things that I heard mixed reviews on, at least mixed takes, so but seeing this in the agreement is on some of these shows and series with like more than 3 episodes, they have to have at least 6 writers on staff,
Nice.
which again, where I was hearing it over conflated was that like, oh yeah, no, because of this, no, they have to have 20 writers in the room. That is a minimum. I was like, no, that's not true entirely. Once they have,
Yeah.
if they have a 20 episode series, yes, they do have to have a minimum of 20 writers. Basically, it's supposed to be one writer per episode.
Okay.
Which I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm down with like cutting back on how many writers are on a project at a time.
Yeah.
Because anybody who knows this, just like if anybody that's been in a group project, okay, they all know that at some point there's too many ideas going across the board, and you need someone to make the unilateral decisions.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah. Other than that, Rachel Zegler is being blacklisted. Again, if you know, you know. The thing that we're excited about, a new Percy Jackson book. Percy
Yes.
Jackson, Wrath of the Triple Goddess, September 24th, 2024.
Yeah. So I'm just so excited for another almost like series, it seems like, of Percy Jackson books. Because also the prophecy. Oh, what's it called? I've been seeing a lot of stuff about one that's coming out like now.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm pulling it up real quick. I should
Oh,
have
go
pulled
for
it
it.
up
Go for it.
before.
This is where I'm bad because.
Chalice.
Oh,
That's what it's
chalice.
called. The Chalice of the Gods.
Ooh, interesting.
And this one comes out October 10th and 11th.
Oh, so here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. And
Ooh.
I forked out the money and I have my own Audible account now and I am getting this. Actually, I can get it right now because Audible.
I say I might see if I can get the actual physical copy.
I know I want that, but I'm in
Uh,
school right now.
you're in school. You isolated. I was gonna say you're in Rexburg. I hope I was like, wait, there's a thing called Amazon.
Yeah, I mean I could always go to the Barnes and Noble and IF, but
Yeah.
here we go and buy with a credit. Yep, okay, I have it officially.
Okay, if you have a credit, use it. That's the one thing that I did like with Audible is that just by having the membership, you get a credit, so you can purchase it on whatever you want.
Exactly. Yo. So yeah, really excited about that. So Chalice of the Gods, then there's a second one coming out next year.
Yeah. So excited that again, Percy Jackson getting a revamp with with the series coming out in December. We're getting this new book next month. So here actually in a couple of weeks. Oh, that's actually one thing that I forgot to mention. One other news thing. Excited for October 27th because the Five Nights at Freddy movie comes out. I'm actually excited to go see that with me wife.
Nice, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. Uh, okay, so next thing on the list, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake has been scrapped. Again, this one not 100% confirmed, but it's acting very sus at this point where like BioWare or the company that's actually behind it they're just taking down all the info from the trailer that they released a couple of years ago to removing it from the website. Like, it's just like, it seems to be like getting nuked and erased from the internet.
Yeah. Which is
Uh,
sad, but not too unexpected.
well, my thing with it is like, didn't want it to be a remake. I wanted it to be a remaster.
Okay.
Where it's the same gameplay, same general mechanics, same storyline, just updated graphics and maybe updated gameplay mechanics. Like,
Okay. I can
that's
see
all I wanted. Like, heck, I'm even fine if they kept the same voice actors, like same voice acting, like word for word in it.
that. Yeah. I mean, they were really great games.
Oh yeah. Knights of the Old Republic got Game of the Year when it came out. Like, it was just fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, Amazon Prime is now going to be adding ads into their services starting next year. Unless you pay the next tier up to remove the ads, which this was kind of the reason.
Amazon Prime Premium.
Basically, Amazon Prime Plus, like
Prime Plus. If that's actually the name, I'm gonna be
Prime,
so disappointed.
If it is, for short, we're calling it PP. Oh, come on. Like, someone's going to make that joke.
Might as well be the first.
Yep, might as well be the first one on there.
Oh, that's great.
Jumping quick back to the SAG stuff. SAG-AFTRA, that the strike has been approved for the video games, meaning that they aren't on strike yet, but they can use it as leverage against the video game companies. So,
nice.
So very interesting there.
Yeah.
In the more somber case, Sir Michael Gambon has passed away. For those of you who don't recognize that name right away, he was the actor that played Dumbledore in the last few movies of Harry Potter.
Yo.
He passed away, I want to say, around age 86. But again, he died in hospital around his family, okay? He was surrounded by loved ones, which I don't think there's any better way to go. I think we all want to be surrounded by our loved ones when we pass.
Yeah. Definitely a good way.
And lastly, on the news, the whole Unity debacle, which Unity, you messed up. You know you messed up. You've even said you're sorry you messed up. But still, come on.
Yeah. That's just that was a PR nightmare.
Oh my goodness. Like, okay, so for everybody that doesn't know, wants the quick, easy breakdown here. Unity, yep, too long didn't read. Here's the SparkNotes version. Main thing that Unity did was basically, if you made a video game using their assets, using Unity, once you hit 200,000 installs, they would start charging you 20 cents per install. Like, they're charging the companies 20 cents per install.
Mm-hmm.
Not purchase, install. Meaning, like, because again, Cody, me and you, we have a lot of games, but our hard drives cannot hold all those games. So we uninstall it. And then when we want to play it again, we reinstall it. So for every time someone uninstalls and then reinstalls it, the company would have gotten dinged 20 cents every time.
Which is ridiculous.
It is insanely ridiculous and makes it open for any malicious kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which, the thing that drove everybody, like, yeah, PR nightmare was the fact they're like, okay, they just mentioned the case that I did is like, what about uninstall, reinstall, uninstall, reinstall? Are you going to charge the company for that? And they're like, yes, we will.
Yeah, they were not ashamed at the time.
They were not ashamed. And even like, and this one is was still in the agreement. I don't know if they've revised this one yet, but multiple installs, meaning like, okay, let's say, for instance, I wanted to play Conan on my computer and on my laptop. That would count as 2 installs. So that would be 40 cents.
Yep.
That would still count. And if I had a Stream Deck, that would also count as another install. And on the page they did with the revision, like that they had revised, this was still, yeah, we will charge every single one of those.
Yeah.
Which finally Unity is like, okay, you know what? We messed up, and they backtracked hard to where I believe where they are finally standing is that the fee is now looking forward, meaning they're taking the Unreal approach
Yeah.
of if you use Unity Personal, there is no runtime fee. Meaning if you even hit if you hit 1 million people downloading it, you're not going to be charged a fee,
Which is really good.
which is good. Uh, the actual fee is when you actually get to like some of the upper echelons of Unity Plus and kind of those higher features. And I believe once you do hit 1 million, once you hit that 1,000,001, they get a 2.5% revenue share. So meaning like with ads, like because I know a lot of phone games use Unity.
Okay.
So like there's a lot of freemium games like that's in-app purchases.
Yeah.
So they will get 2.5% of the revenue share that the game makes.
That's okay. I can get that.
Where Unreal is 5% of the revenue share. So 5% of whatever the company makes, Unreal would make, but only once they hit that 1,000,001. So they're up to 1 million with Unreal. That 1,000,000 is yours. That 1,000,001, they get 5 cents.
That's not too bad.
Again, Unity is basically doing the same thing, but it's like, oh, instead we'll take 2 cents.
Yeah.
But you also are going to be paying the premium of like 2,000 a year, and there's a whole lot of things with it. But nonetheless, bottom line, we've lost trust in Unity.
Yeah. They're just too greedy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other sussy things going on there.
Oh yeah.
From like the president who used to work at EA.
That's a black mark in and of itself.
Yeah, and then he withdrew money. Not withdrew money. He sold his stock before they made
stock before they did this. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's insider trading right there.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, there's a lot of. It's very sussy to say the least.
Yep.
But with that, I think that wraps up the fantasy news.
I do have one thing.
All right, go for it.
And that's the Ahsoka season finale is coming this week. I'm really excited for that. The episode 4 and 5 were phenomenal. Kind of went back down for me a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm really excited for the final episode. And I'm really hoping it comes together. I am. So I'm just really excited for that. So that's the last thing. It's just Ahsoka season finale is coming out this week.
So I think that went to my mind. Where it was like, yeah, happy to see it all come together. I'm like, it's Kronk. Oh yeah, it's all coming together now.
I sure hope so. But yeah, all right. But yeah, with that, let's switch over to
Wheel of Time, episode 7.
Wheel of Time.
Woo!
6 and 7, I think.
6. Oh yeah, that's right. We need to cover episode 6. So we'll do episode 6 first, and then we'll dive into 7. So let me pull up my episode 6 notes.
Yes.
I have episode 7.
That was my bad. I had a test, and then I went down to Salt Lake for the weekend. It was just craziness.
Let me see. Wheel of Time, season 2, episode 6. Okay. So episode 6. Oh yeah. So what did you think overall of episode 6?
Trying to put it into words and separate the two episodes in my mind because I binged them both, and so I have to think about where one stopped, the other began. I really liked how it showed a lot more of the things with Egwene.
Yeah.
And what are they called again? The
Dumani.
I was close. But with the Dumani and how just the start of all of that and really throughout the episode of them breaking her. That was really sad, but really well done. I thought they just did a really fantastic job overall with that.
Oh, they did a phenomenal job with it. Like, I have zero complaints about it. Actually, they did make one change that I was iffy on, and they could still bring it up, which would be funny.
Okay.
So we'll definitely cover Egwene's segment. I want to say maybe in the middle of this, like towards the end of this episode talk.
Yeah.
But one of the things they use to help break the Dumani is they will take away their name. So
Yeah, they talked about that.
they talk about it, but again, Rena was like, "No, Egwene is keeping her name. Her name's still Egwene."
Yeah.
But so I'm like, what if they use that like at the very end? It's like, "Oh, you backhanded me. Okay, you know what? You lost your name. You're now." Because again, in the book, that's what happens. Is like
Yeah.
she go because again, it kind of even does in the beginning of this, just like, "What's your name?" And finally, Egwene tells her, "It's like, Egwene, that's almost a perfect name, but I got one better. It's this."
Yeah. I kind of hope they do that because she's still fighting. She's still
Oh,
resisting. And so, yeah, it's really like that sequence with it all. It's one of those things that, like, this really sucks what's going on, but it's also really neat how they're doing it. And they're helping her to see her true power. This
oh
is
yeah.
gonna help her once she's free. That she's not gonna be messed with because she's very powerful and she knows how to use that power now.
Oh yeah. And
So as
there's
much
a
as it's go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a lot of things that honestly this part of her becoming a Dumani is integral to her character growth. Yes, it absolutely sucks.
Yeah, but yeah, I can see it being so integral to who she is, but also more. As much as this is terrible, it's good for her development
Oh
and as
yeah.
a character. And this is going to make her so powerful. This is going to just change so much.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. I'm trying to see if I can find what her name was given to her.
I'm
Let
sure
me
we'll
see.
find out in the next episode.
We're gonna find out the next episode, but in case, I'm just trying to find it just in case.
Yeah.
Because I know Rena gives her like another name.
Yeah.
But so we'll jump back to episode 6 here. So let's. I don't even know how to play this. So how do you want to cover it? Like, because I do like going like story by story, like Rand Matt's story, Elaine and Nynaeve's story.
Yeah. I'm good going story by story. Why don't we start with Rand?
Okay, Rand's story. Let me see here. Da. Oh yeah, because this is where Rand goes into Teleran Riyadh. The Realm of Dreams is meets BDSM Lanfear.
Yeah.
I did like how like we do see an essence of Rand's innocence of just like he's trying to work like he goes in there just like Celine, what's going on? Talk to me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I I thought it was really well done as well, where he went in just trying to figure out like what she wants out of everything.
mm-hmm.
And that was his entire way he came from it. And he's like, "Hey, she just wants me away from you, to away from I am
Moraine.
Moraine, for obvious reasons." But the thing that I really thought was interesting is that their goals are essentially the same right now
Mm-hmm.
for Moraine and for the Forsaken.
Yeah.
They both want him to get to the city to announce who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very interesting to me.
And for me, the thing that I do like with Rand in this episode is we see more of like Rand's character and who he is, like the early stages, before he really gets into just like I now know how to play you guys against each other. It's like that because okay, later on in the series, I think you can make this jump. Rand learns how to manipulate the Forsaken and Aes Sedai. Like he learns how to manipulate them.
Yeah.
Because in every respect, he kind of has to.
Oh yeah. Oh, you'd
But
have to.
so you're beginning to see his growth in that right now. You're beginning to see him like go, okay, Lanfear and Ashamael. That's how those two are kind of working together. The Aes Sedai are doing this. Who is going to meet my needs the best? Lanfear, right now. She's going to give me what I need to know right now. Then once that circumstance change, I will quickly switch over to the Aes Sedai, who will give me what I want. It's very much like he is really serving his own purposes. And you begin to kind of see Rand beginning to calculate that.
Yeah. I love the comment from Lanfear at one point. She goes, "Oh, I love it when you try and manipulate me."
Yes. I think even in my notes, it's just like, yeah. Rand is showing his quote unquote true nature.
Yeah.
Becoming more like a loose Theron.
Yeah. That was really well done, where you do see him start to do that. And you see him start to do that with Moraine. He starts to do it with the Forsaken, and he's learning.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really interesting that way. I am. See anything else with Rand from episode 6?
Him and Matt meeting up.
Yes.
That for me was a big one because actually, so me and Megan we rewatched it all the way through episode 6 from where she left off, which was after the first 3 episodes. So it's 4, 5, and 6 that we watched together.
Okay.
And as we got to the end of episode 5, I was just like, I even made this comment of just like, this is why I'm liking the season, is because you can begin to see like how the wheel is turning and bringing these people together. Like I even made a comment just like, I wouldn't be surprised if in episode 6, this next episode, Matt and Rand meet back up because they're going to both be in Kyrian. Yeah. And sure enough, that was what happens because I'm like, hey, the wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I saw coming, that they're trying to get them together. I mean, the Forsaken really trying to, because they're setting up for him to kill him. Supposedly.
Because this is where it's one of those things. I want them to cover this. They've slightly covered this in episode 7, but there is an entire prophecy of the dragon. And one of the prophecies is, he will reveal himself in Falma.
Yes.
So I want to begin seeing more of like the prophecy of the dragon, like the stuff that is actually talked about. I want them to sit down and actually go, these are the omens that we have seen so far. There's some weird ones out there, but here are the ones that we have seen so far, and have them kind of explain. And actually I could even see them maybe doing that next season. So it's nice that we're getting little hints here and there. But I really want them to say, oh, it's the prophecy of the dragon. Just even that. Just say, it's the prophecy of the dragon. Okay. And I believe they actually have a name for it. I'm just blanking on it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've really enjoyed from a third-party perspective of not having read the books is that they haven't gone and said, oh, this is every detail of the prophecy and all this stuff with it. And it reminds me a lot more of the Kingkiller Chronicles, where he doesn't give you everything. You learn it as you go, and they don't just lay it out. It's just referenced here and there, and you piece it together yourself. And I love that. It treats you like an adult, like an intelligent adult, and I like it.
Yeah, I just want them to name drop the Karaethon cycle. That's what it's called.
And that's why they haven't name dropped it.
Okay, the way it's spelled is Karaethon cycle.
You lost me at K.
Karaethon.
Is that like a marathon or?
It might be the Karaethon cycle. I don't know. They've been mispronouncing Falm again. Actually, like Megan brought this up in the car. I was like, not the way it's written. It probably is Falm. I'm like, I heard it as Falma. So anyway,
I think the audio guy got it wrong.
Audio guy and girl. It was a couple.
Oh, my bad.
It's actually the same duo that do Stormlight.
Oh, cool.
So actually, real quick side rant. Sanderson was actually really excited when he got those two to be able to voice his audiobook because he grew up on Wheel of Time. He was a huge diehard fan of Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
So for him, it was just like a dream come true when the narrators from his favorite book series got narrated his books.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just kind of a little fun side note. So yeah, Rand meets up back with Matt. Which again was just nice to see Rand and Matt go. It's good to see you, buddy.
That was really good, and it was really well done. It definitely seemed like two friends who hadn't seen each other for a long time. And the thing I forgot was that Matt didn't know that Rand was supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's explaining after, I'm like, oh man, he missed so much. Oh man.
So
But I also loved that in response to it all, where I Rand is just like, I thought everyone would be better off if they thought I was dead. And Matt's like, no one's better off thinking that. We all need you. And then Rand's just like, we need you too. It just throws it right back at him. He goes, oh, no, we're good.
which dude, I love Matt. This is my mixed feelings, and we'll get more to it into the next episode. But in this episode, I love when Matt and Rand meet back up. Love the entire like debacle between Matt and Min, with Min kind of withholding like the truth, saying, "Yeah, you're going to kill Rand with the dagger," and Matt's like, "I told her nothing about the dagger, so dang it, she might be right." And so he takes upon himself, like, "I'm not even going to risk it."
Yeah.
But the will wheezes the will, so they're both going to. He's already in film.
Yep. He got teleported by the Forsaken. Just whoop. You know what would be funny
What?
is if she knocked him out, or someone knocked him out, and then he got taken over there. What if his side of it is like a week later, or however long it takes to get there, and they literally just carried him on a cart and just kept hitting him in the head anytime he started waking up? How'd you get me here? Oh, I have my ways. Smack.
Oh, dude, there's so much stuff in Will Time. I'm excited for us to get to. There's just a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a good season.
This has been a great season, and then we get to the end with Rand. Rand is about ready to take off to Falma. I'm going to keep saying Falma because that's what I'm used to.
And then he gets arrested.
Gets arrested by Lan.
Yes. And the Aes Sedai.
And the Aes Sedai, and is then being charged to the Armelin Sea. So I guess now we can backtrack to Lan getting to this moment.
Yes. I really enjoyed the side of it. Lan is one of my favorite characters because he's one of the people that's sitting there going, why are you making this so convoluted? Just tell them. Just tell them and everything will be better. It's called communication. It's not that hard.
And let me tell you this. This is why a lot of people like Lan in the books, because he is more blunt and more straight to the point.
You know, when they talked about in the previous episodes how the warders see the flaws of the Aes Sedai, that's the flaw. It's communication. That's why they're able to communicate so well.
Like, dude, seriously, throughout most of the Wheel of Time, you're just like, just sit down and talk. Just, you two are on the same side. You guys are just so suspicious of one another that it's just talk.
Yup. It was so funny. I love him. I love him though. Lan is the best.
It's like, I love Lan. It's just, I feel like within the series, they're kind of making him more whiny than he ever really was.
It's fair.
Which is driving me nuts. So episode 7, I'm like, okay, we're getting back to the normal Lan.
Yeah. And that's how I felt about him on this one. Is it was like Lan's back. He is just like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna get things done, and that's how he is. Um, and so that's what he does. So I didn't realize this.
Hmm.
I did not feel that they suspected him of having being a dark friend.
Oh yeah. Uh,
I did not expect them to think that, and so it kind of threw me for a loop when all of a sudden they all block him off, and they're like tying him or using the power to restrain him. And they're just like, yeah, no, you're not going anywhere because we think you're a dark friend. I'm like, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. What? Lana's what?
and it makes perfect sense when you begin thinking it from their perspective.
Yes, it clicked, but I didn't feel it building to this.
Yeah,
That was my only flaw.
it caught you by surprise.
Yes, when I feel like they were trying to make you feel that way.
Yeah.
Like looking back on it, I'm like, oh, I see what they did to lead up to this, but I just don't feel like they sold that these people were actually suspicious of him.
Yeah. No, and for me, I understand where you come from because when they did that, I felt the same. I was like, why would they suspect Lan of being a dark friend? Like, it's Lan.
He
This is
had
the.
one poem. It was one poem.
Well, specifically, it's a poem on how to summon Lan Fear, okay? One of the Forsaken.
Fair enough. Well, I
Like,
didn't know it was a. I thought it was a poem just saying that she's going to return. I didn't think it told you how to summon her.
no, it did tell you how to summon her. Again, I
Uh,
was able to catch it because I rewatched it with Megan.
Makes sense. I thought it was just a poem talking about
Lan
Lanfear
Fear.
and just saying, "Oh, Lanfear's here." I remember them quoting it, like that's what um I almost called him Agamemnon. What's
Isha-
his name?
Ishamael.
Ishamael. I will get there. I will just go through every other name I can think of first. But Ishamael, him reciting from it. But I never connected that that poem was actually how to release her.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm just an idiot, but that's why I was so surprised.
No, and actually, this is where this season has done extremely well. They have thrown in a lot of information, but they've shown it. They've done an amazing job with just showing it instead of telling us. Like that poem
True.
that Ishamael is quoting is to release Lanfear. And I love how we see that. And then it's that poem in hand gets handed off to Lan, it's just there's a lot of beautiful subtlety that's going on where that information is being told, and if you're paying attention you will see it.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, the whole Lan is a dark friend, I was like, wait, what? I'm with you there. And then I began thinking about it, I was like, oh.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
I see the lines you were making.
But yeah,
uh
so
yeah,
I am after that though, he tells them that I am
tracks down the Armelin seat and just spills the beans.
well, first he tells I am the green that
Yeah,
Rand is the dragon. They found the dragon.
yeah.
And then they track down the armlet seat, and then the armlet seat tracks down Moraine.
Moraine. Who then therefore tracks down Rand.
Yes. And in the middle of that is a lover's quarrel.
Yeah.
Oh no, the betrayal.
Well, we'll get there when we get more into episode 7.
I
Uh,
know, I just had to.
I think there's a couple of last things in here because there's a Gwen. Yeah, there's the Egwene part. Then there is Elaine and Nynaeve. Uh,
Yeah. That's more episode 7 though, isn't it?
uh, it's just more on they're beginning to plot on how to break Egwene out. They're gathering the pieces on how to do it, like the collar and leash. How
I
they
think we could
start.
do theirs. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say just them trying to. The only reason why I think it's important is because I think we would need to cover this, like, because again we talked about them breaking Egwene, the mind games, and one of the things that I loved with Egwene stuff is how the Soldam Rena is literally talking down to her that she's a pet.
Yes.
Like the verbiage she uses, just like, oh, you're not a woman, you're not even human. You're
Yeah.
Dumani.
Yep.
And
It's very much so breaking them to make
mhm,
them feel like they're not human, to make them feel like they're just nothing more than an animal, a pet, a tool to be used.
yeah, it's breaking them down, and oh, and I just love the thing that they did beautifully, just so excellently, is how controlling that leash is.
Yes.
Like some of the mind games that Rena plays in the book, she's like, "Oh yeah, I will totally let you free if you can hand me your leash. If you can pick it up, I will let you go." And every single time Egwene tries for it, of course, the collar responds. Just and the mind games, just the mind games are just so good.
You know,
oh, oh,
what's go ahead.
oh no, I was just like, oh yeah, there is one other thing we do need to talk about. We can cover that in tangent with Elaine and Nynaeve.
So I think we should just cover all of Elaine and Nynaeve's in one go from
Yeah,
both episodes
mm-hmm.
because it's
There
all
isn't a lot.
one. Yeah, there's not a lot, and it all flows together.
Yes, okay, I agree. We can do that.
Okay, so basically, just to sum up, and the parts, I am. They're currently living with the Aes Sedai, well, hiding at the Aes Sedai's attic.
Mm-hmm.
I am, and then the Aes Sedai reveals that she has a collar and brace or bracelet. I
Mm-hmm.
am brace or whatever they're called
Yeah,
to
the leash.
the leash. I am, and they're gonna try and figure out how to break it.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're doing so, they're pushing I am Nynaeve to actually use her power, which of course she can't control, and so she bursts too much. Which is two things. The first I thought was really cool is that she gains an understanding of the necklet of the
The collar,
collar,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and that the collar itself seems almost sentient. I
Okay.
am To me that's how I took it, where it's not intelligent, but it's the same sentience as an animal, where it has a need to be fulfilled. And the need for the collar is to be around a woman's neck to collar them for coloring the magic, to color the one power.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
And it needs that,
the way
is what
I
she had said.
Okay, the way I kind of more interpret it, and the way I explained it, because as we were watching the latest episode, me and Megan last night, she was
Mm-hmm.
asking me just like, why can't Egwene just kind of break out of this? And so I'm like, how would she? Like how? And she's like, well, what about the rescuers? What about like when Nynaeve and Elaine they come and rescue her? How like aren't they going to be able to set her free? I was just like, is Rena there? It's like yeah, like how are they going to get it from Rena? I was like, okay, think of the collar like a computer. It's got code written inside of it because it's what's called a ter'angreal. It's got code written inside of it. Basically, like if this happens, therefore this is going to happen. And it
Okay.
is so that's where it's like it is very much like code in that regard. It is a magical coding that could be sentient, but it is all this code. It's like I will only work if I'm around a female channeler. Should the female chandler see anything as a weapon to harm the person wearing the leash, we will not allow that to happen. It's very much like code. It's very much like almost like kind of the old coding systems. Like if this happens, therefore this is going to happen. If this happens, this happens. That's kind
Okay.
of that's how I was interpreting the caller. Is that should this happen, we will act and activate this sequence to stop her.
Yeah, and so that's how the collar itself works. It was more just the way that Nynaeve described it
Mm-hmm.
when she had that burst. To me, it just seemed like she was referencing it like it was alive. Not that it was, but just that's what it brought to
Mm.
my mind.
Okay. The terminology that she used. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like it.
I am. But the second thing that did is it attracted all of the people to them because they used the one power and they could sense it.
Yep, and that led to an Aes Sedai fight to where then the Aes Sedai gets collared.
Yup, and her warder is killed.
Mm-hmm. And
which was really sad. It was
it
a
is
really well done fight.
it was so well done, and I loved it in the respect of just Nynaeve in the book always drives me insane, and the show's done a beautiful job of showing that because Nynaeve is so bullheaded, and it has to be her
Yeah.
way or the highway. Like it's got to be her way, and this really is almost breaking down Nynaeve, going, no, you can't bullhead your way through every situation. You need to learn subtlety.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought this really should have spoken to Nynaeve. But of course, Nynaeve being bullheaded is just like, well, it's the Shan Chan that are to blame. Which, yes, they are to blame for the acts that they did. But you
Yeah.
could have also helped prevented this if you had better control of the one power. Which, again, that's part of like Nynaeve's again, character development is her learning.
Yeah, and I feel like this was a major part of that, and Elaine had such a part to play. Where at the start of all of it, she Nynaeve was just like, "Well, we're gonna do this," and Elaine just goes, "No, we're not. We tried it your way. It doesn't work. You're gonna do it my way now. So shut up and follow my example."
Yes, and this is why I love Elaine so freaking much, man. she,
It was a
she's
really fun part.
she's just so sane. That's what I love about her.
Yeah.
She's calm. She's level headed. She knows how to approach the situation. And the part we did not cover from the last one, and that's why I was thinking we could just lump them all together, is loyal. Loyal inside
Yeah.
the Shan Chan, him having to go perform for Lady Suroth, all that stuff, and then him meeting up with Nynaeve and Elaine in the city.
Yes.
The thing I loved with it is just because it is 100% Ogier way, the long-windedness of the introductions and how he will just start going, and then he's like, yeah, we get it, go, 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 go.
What I really liked about that is that while Nynaeve was being really, honestly, rude and trying to rush it, I Elaine was just smiling and just yep, like she knows and she knows his customs and culture and like knows exactly how to go through it all. And while I understand where they need to hurry, I love that even in that moment she stopped to show him the respect of listening.
Correct, and that's why I love Elaine. She's just so good.
Yeah,
Just the
she was a great
honor,
character.
just the honor, the respect that you see. Oh, it's just so nice.
And one of the things I really liked is when Nynaeve is like, "Well, I'm the one that knows Egwene. I'm the one that loves her, and I should be like, I'm staying because of this. Why are you staying? Like, you should just leave." And Illy just calls her out on it, just flat out, just like, "Oh, so now that you can get rid of me, you'll use my title. Now that this, you're just using things to your advantage and manipulating." And she's like, "Well, why are you here?" She goes, "Because she's the only friend I've ever had," and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like done.
Like that's why
But
I love Elaine. She will not take crap. She knows how to deal with people because she's the freaking heir.
you know, she was a great character and really enjoying her throughout it all. Like you said, she's the level-headed one that really just we're gonna do things the right way and just helps guide everyone,
Mm-hmm.
despite probably being younger than all of them.
Oh yeah, I actually her and Egwene are the same age.
Okay.
So those two same age. It's just again different upbringings. That's why Elaine and Egwene really hit it off, and why Nynaeve and Elaine are really butting heads is because even in this dynamic in the book is because sorry, both of them in every respect were the leaders of their domain. Nynaeve was the wisdom of the two rivers. She had control. She had say. What she said went. Elaine, Princess of Andor, is able to again has sway, but she has more of the people experience, and knows how to govern on a bigger scale, whereas Nynaeve knows how to herd cats, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I think that kind of basically wraps up, other than Nynaeve and Elaine get one of the Soul Dom chained.
Yes. So this is one of the things I thought was interesting, is because they, all right, with it, it's not only applies to people who can channel the one power. because the channelers are the Dumani, and then they have the controller who does that, but they're not channelers. They're not people that can actually touch the one power. They use it through these items and through the Dumani. So these chains work on more than just those that can touch the one power.
I really want to say something, but it might be a spoiler.
I'm sure it is, but go for it.
You're wrong.
So they are channelers as well?
Yes. So,
Did they used to be Dumani?
no. This is again, so spoiler, this is huge spoiler, so if you want, you can skip probably a good couple of minutes ahead and you'll be fine. So, if you guys want to know, I'll explain it, but just going to move forward, okay? So, this is the crux of Shanchan culture that can shatter it. Is that the Soul Dom can also channel. They're weaker channelers. It's the weaker ones controlling the stronger ones.
Okay. Which makes sense in the way that they use them as tools. These ones aren't dangerous on their own, and so they use them to channel the more dangerous ones.
Yes, in every respect, that is originally how it was supposed to be used. Because Rena was correct when she was saying that the collar and leash were developed by Aes Sedai as a means to control other Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Because I believe the original idea behind it was, okay, we're going to help kind of guide the novices on how to use the one power, and then we'll take it off and they'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But no, again, as you see, it's being used for malicious purposes, but the entire culture of Shanchan is the Dumani and Soldom. Soldom are the normal, regular people that could control the channelers, when in every respect, they can channel as well.
Okay.
So there's little hints scattered throughout that show this, because only channelers can see the weaves.
Gotcha.
A normal person cannot see the one power, cannot see the weaves. To them, it just looks like an Aes Sedai might be using their hands, and all of a sudden, this happens. They can't
Makes
see.
sense.
In fact, a woman channeler cannot see a male channeler's weaves.
That I did know.
Yeah.
Because that comes up later with Moraine.
Correct. So this is where they could have covered this information just a touch better. But again, I like how they're doing, again, more of the show, don't tell. So I'm good with it.
Yes. I'm good with it too.
Okay. And the spoiler part.
Sounds good. We'll clip it. We'll have timestamps and all that, whatever.
Yep. I will timestamp it so you can just skip straight to this. Okay. So, but anyway. Yes.
Yeah. So moving on
to episode 7.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to talk about Moraine.
Yes. Okay. What do you want to talk about first?
There's so much. Let's start with her nephew.
Ooh, yes. Do you want to start there, or should we kind of do like beginning of the episode with the flashback, or do you want to just cover that whole Swan and Moraine relationship later on?
We can do the relationship later on because that's a bigger part. This one I just thought was a really cool, interesting part.
Mm-hmm.
But it just didn't feel like it tied in as much with everything else. I felt it was a little bit separate in the Moraine story.
Okay. I agree.
So basically, her nephew, who has been the sweetest, most gullible, and like, how else to put it?
Sweet summer child, so to speak.
Yeah, so he's the definition of like a dandy. If you think about like the old British dandies of with all that, that's what I picture is exactly how he's acting. And now it comes out that he has been in league with the Dark One the whole time.
Yep.
And that's how their family came to power. That's how he became the soon to be king. All because he plunged himself to the darkness.
Yep, because he's a dark friend.
Yup. And at the end of the episode, or towards the end, he's set up to kill Moraine and then possibly his own mom. And his mom sets him up and gets him trapped and goes, yeah, no, we already told the queen, you're dead. You're done.
Yeah. Did you notice the title of the episode?
Yes, it's the houses. It's the game of houses.
Correct. Which is why I'm like, I don't think the title quite applies to this one. But if again, the fact that they were wrapping up maybe this story arc makes sense because what the what Moraine's sister did, what his mom did, was the game of houses. She played him.
So actually, so I saw that right at the start what the name of the episode was, and I at the end of it felt like this episode was a great representation of it, not just with that specifically, but also with Rand and how he's starting
Ah,
to manipulate people. It's
okay.
also like in all the different ones, everything going on is manipulation and playing each other to get where they need it to be. Let's look at I'm Moraine and I'm the
Anchor.
Emerald Seat.
Okay.
Well, the everything between them, and at the
Hmm.
very end, I they play each other throughout the end of it,
Very true.
and
Okay.
all of this, everything in the episode, if you look at it, is the game of houses.
Yeah, you're right. I stand corrected. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now that I'm looking back on it, you are absolutely right. It is the game of houses.
So I just really enjoyed it. I enjoyed this episode a lot because of that. It's the
Okay.
subtle politics between it all. I
The subtle
and not
nudging.
yeah, and not to keep jumping to King Color Chronicles. It is my favorite book series. But in the
Mm.
second one, in the Wiseman's Fear, it's the when he's living with the
Was it? Yeah, the king. I'm trying to remember who's the king of. It's not Carbronth.
oh my gosh, it's been over a year. It's been almost 2 years since I've read it last. I am
Is it Carbronth? Or no, I think that's the wrong. Oh
no,
no, that's Stormlight.
yep.
uh,
Um, so both
oh yeah, and actually, real quick backtrack to a couple episodes ago. Telu. Telu was the wheel guy with the iron
yes.
reel.
Halo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I remember that in the shower this morning. I was just like, okay, me and Cody got our podcast today. Oh yeah, what was the god? Because I remember playing it for me and just like how cool that they go into the stories with. I was like, Telu in Telu's name, got it.
Yup. Oh, and so he was when he was living with the mayor in Ventus.
Ventus, okay.
Yeah, so he's living Mayor Alvaron, in Ventus, and it's the rings and all of that, and how just subtle everything. Like I just loved that, and this is very similar. For, excuse me, it's very similar, but in its own unique way. Just the game of houses and all that.
Okay, yeah. Like this is where I think Rothfuss. Again, I think again, there's a lot of literature that they can pull from. And
Oh yeah,
and for all I know, Wheel of Time could have been where he's like, "Oh, the game of houses. I like that idea. Let's throw that in."
yeah. I but no, it reminds me of that, and it reminds me of the intrigue and all this, all the fun stuff. I just love it. I love it so much.
So actually, this one is another small part that we can cover. Uh, Gieto, Perrin, and the oh my gosh, the Aiel.
Yes, I I thought that was really interesting to show their culture more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't know. I kind of just went past. It, was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, and then just kept going. It didn't really stand out as much more than like a little bit of laying groundwork for later on and helping to understand things a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. For me, they did two awesome things. One was the whole beat the living crap out of Avienda.
Yeah.
Because again, part of again, as she said, she had to because she like her sis like basically her sister, quote unquote, was killed protecting her. So
Yeah.
oh my gosh, Bale and Chiad got the opportunity basically to for her to repay her debt, repay her toll. They got to beat the living crap out of him. It's basically the guy philosophy of two guys who are going at it. Like they're just feuding and they finally just like punch the living crap out of each other and then they're best friends by the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's why for us because again, I was watching this with Megan. She's just like, why the heck are they doing that? I was like, oh, it's because she had to. It's because, yeah, no, they had a disagreement. So they pounded out of her until basically they're good and everybody's good. Like, that's so barbaric. I was like, it's the IEL culture. They're all good now. And the second thing was the last time you see them and they're approaching Falma. Did you have the subtitles on?
I don't remember.
So there's a cool segment where you see Avienda kind of just gesture to all the water, and in the subtitles it pops up with dialogue because that is Aiel hand speak.
Oh, okay.
Basically, just like, this is all water. Why? And I just loved that little detail. It was just, for me, I was just like, they're doing Aiels the right way. And then Chiad, Bell and Chiad. I'm so happy. Yeah, Beyond and Bane and Chiad. I love those two. Because, so in the book, it's not Avienda that Perrin saves from the cage. It's a guy named Gall.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this last time.
Bane and Chiad, well, I can't remember. One of them has a thing for Gall.
Okay.
That gets addressed like way later in the books. Like we're talking towards the end. At this point, I'm not even sure if we're going to get Gall. Okay, that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
But those two, they're funny. They are just hilarious. Those two's dynamic. It's like a comedy duo. Like they're a comedy duo in the respect of how they demean everybody in front of them.
Okay.
Like, you kind of see this a little bit with Avienda, like the way she makes fun of Perrin.
Yeah.
Bane and Chia do it as a duo. It's fun. So that's kind of, we've covered Perrin, we covered the Aiel. Okay.
Sounds good.
So actually the way I did these notes was, actually I did it on location for Kyrian and Falma.
Okay.
Because I thought that was a more accurate way to do it. I think let's just cover Falma, and then we'll finish up with Kyrian.
Yeah, what else happened in Falma? I thought we covered most of it.
We did cover Egwene showing her potential as a channeler, Loyal meeting up. The big thing that we haven't covered is my low-key beef, which is Ashamael and Matt.
Okay.
Because it had me so excited and then disappointed real quick. Because part of Matt's power comes from learning about his past lives on the wheel.
That part, yes.
So when Ishamael is like, yes, I'll give you the tea where you can see your past lives, I was like, oh, we're going to see it. We're going to see Manetheren. We're going to see it. And then instead, it's just more like alternate realities of what Matt could be doing, what Matt could have done to his family. I'm just like, aw, I wanted to see the past lives.
Yeah.
Which, in one respect, again, that's my beef. It's just like, I wanted to see the past lives. Come on. Why you gotta do my boy dirty? But it could also be the fact that maybe this tea, since, again, it's given by one of the Forsaken, it's trying to break him.
I think so. So
that's where I'm just like, I understand the direction you're going with, but I still wanted to see the past lives. So that's my beef with it, is I wanted to see more of the past lives, but it's one of those things just like in the moment, I'm like, I want this. Retrospect, I see what you're trying to do. If you're trying to, and Matt coming and discovering those past lives on his own instead of through a Ashamael, and Ashamael could have just like knocked the memories loose, and it begins trickling through. Okay, let's go from there.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to see them.
That would have been. I'm sure we will.
Mm-hmm. Because Matt begins experiencing this when they first leave the Two Rivers.
Okay.
Like, we're talking as soon as they leave the Two Rivers, I think they even fight like a thing of Trollocs, and Matt does a chant in the old tongue saying for Manetheren.
Okay.
And that's where like Moraine and Lane are like, did he just shout for Manetheren? Maybe he's the dragon. Maybe it's this.
Yeah.
So that's where just like, I want to see more of that because I just feel like we're not really seeing all of Matt's potential yet, and I want to see his potential.
I think that'll be more season 3.
Yeah, honestly, season 3 and book 3 is where Matt really makes strides. So if that's like, again, I'm excited. I want to see it. I was hoping we would get a glimpse of it right now, and I'm just feeling cheated. That's all I'm saying.
So my take on it from looking at it as a TV series, I am they still don't really have time to add in more because they're already developing Nynaeve and Egwene and Rand
Mm-hmm.
really heavily.
Yeah.
So right now, Perrin and Matt are kind of on the back burner where they're getting development, but it's set up so next season they can have a lot more, whereas Egwene will already have her major one this season.
Okay. You know what? I see that, and I like that because yeah, you're probably right. You're most likely right.
That's just how I see it, and hopefully it works that way because I think that would be really well and does the characters justice. I am all of the characters justice rather than
Mm-hmm.
just keeping Matt and Perrin as background characters when they shouldn't be.
Oh yeah. And for me, I think that's just like a worry I have is like I don't. They're not background characters. They're foreground. But
And
again,
that's
in
the worry I have as well.
yeah, and in these books, all 6 of these people are in the foreground because they're able to kind of they can do it chapter by chapter. Whereas for here, you got a lot of information you are trying to cram in. So that's, again, I understand the approach and I'm okay with it. It's one of those things just like, I want to see it. It's like a kid wanting candy, okay?
Yeah.
Probably, like, in the long run, there will be something even better. It's just bear with it now. And that's what I'm trying to remind myself is there's going to be another season. There's going to be more to this because they have absolutely killed it. But actually,
Yeah.
before the whole tea thing, I love Matt's wittiness because it is totally him.
That was really funny. Like, so you're just gonna come in here and not say anything, or what?
I'm getting the vibe of we're either having sex or you're gonna kill me. Either way, just get to the point.
Yep. Like less talking.
It's like let's just get to it. All right, if it's gonna happen, just get it done.
That was really funny.
Just because again, that's Matt. That is Matt to a T. Is just like give it the worst case scenario. He's like let's just get it over with and does it in the funniest way.
Yeah.
So, but I think with that might actually tie up Falma.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm so back to the other city.
All right, Kyrian. Okay.
Kyrie.
So, yeah, let's just cover because again, a good chunk of this is Moraine and Swan's relationship.
Yes.
Because again, and then the other Aes Sedai kind of trickle in. You begin to kind of see the plots that the other Aes Sedai are doing and them coming to fruition.
Yes.
Like I like how you see Moraine's like alliance, like the Aes Sedai she trusts, and I like how you begin to see them work together, even if they don't trust each other. They trust Moraine,
Yeah.
which, yeah. So okay, Swan and Moraine's relationship. Do you want to take first crack at it?
Sure. I think I still feel like it was unnecessary.
It's
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's unnecessary and that they could have done all of this with them being just like both the people there and having that union. I am much like with in Stormlight Archives, Thaddeus and um Thaddeus and Dalinar. They have the joint thing where they're going to protect. I am. Oh my gosh, who's the
oh
king?
Gavilar.
Gavilar. Thank you. They're there. They're going to protect Gavilar, and they are united in that. But they're two different people. They're still very much
It's two different ways.
two, yeah, two different ways. They don't have to, like, they're not even friends anymore. And I thought the way he did that was so great. And with here, I mean, I understand why they did. And I feel like it was an unnecessary change that just goes on with the way that all shows today are going, is that there has to be lesbians thrown in, and it has to be gay, and it has to be all this. And I mean, great, have it, but why are you changing characters so much just to do it?
So,
So that's my one rant with this. Sorry, personal take.
and here is my personal take on it as well. Similar vein of just like it wasn't necessary, but wasn't necessary kind of in a different way. In the regards to, I feel like this Solon like muddies the relationship that the Armerlin Sea and Moraine ever had in the books. Because the way it is in the books is that Moraine and Swan, they're united in purpose. Both of them have the idea, the goal, the standard to find the dragon and give him the best chance possible. Swan was never, ever one to say, we're going to keep him locked up in a cage. Never. That was the last thing she would ever consider. She was like, that is the fail safe if all crap hits the fan. That is our last ditch effort. Prior to that, we need to have him trained. We need to have him ready. We need him to be out there. I don't like how they made it more on the Armelin Sea is trying to control him, because that was never Swan.
Yeah.
And that's where Swan and Moraine were united. On the surface, they seem to be at odds with each other all the freaking time. In private, underneath the table here, they were the best of friends who always knew what the other one was going to do and had each other's backs. I think they decided to escalate it to what if we made it a relationship, but now because they did that and because of the stunts they pulled, it now muddies that relationship ever going forward. Now, to also backtrack, after this point, even in the books, after Armerlin Sea and Moraine have their one-on-one with Rand, they never see each other for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
So if they were trying to make this a more dramatic breakup and decided to escalate it to this level, I get it. I understand what they're trying to do, because even as an actor, you try to go with what is going to hit the hardest emotionally. And
Yeah, and that's go ahead.
and I was gonna say, and honestly, for them to make that leap, especially in today's society, it kind of makes sense. I just was not a big fan of it because it more muddies the relationship of what Moraine was trying to do as an Aes Sedai, as a blue Aja, and the Armelin Sea, who's also a blue. To me, it muddied that relationship, because going forward, because Moraine still kept in contact with Swan, she would continue, and again, even shows this in the show, of that she continuously sent letters to the Armelin Sea, updating her on what's going on. Now, because of this, because of what Swan did and what she did with the Oath Rod, it sullies that relationship. And that's the thing I don't like about it, is because they tried to escalate it a little too high. To
And
where,
that was the point I was trying to make with it.
yeah.
Is that it was just escalated too high. They're trying to get you to overly feel this betrayal when it wasn't needed in the first place.
When that betrayal never even occurred. That is my beef. Now, the pros, okay? Some of the pros I saw in the flashback. I love Swan's tattoos. They look dope, okay?
Those were really well done.
And I love how they're talking about the Aiel War, talking about the war. And then for me, the big point in that big old flashback was the prophecy of the dragon being hinted. I loved that. Those are my big takeaways from the flashback. wasn't like, again, I'm just not the biggest fan of the direction they're taking Swan in this series. But in
Yeah.
one respect, it could always be like, this is where she was. Now we're taking her down. We're doing this so that way, then when we bring her back up, she's going to shine better. But just the one thing that just irks me to no end was the whole, because again, in one respect, it does make sense why she would say it. But just like the whole, it would have been easier if you were a woman thing.
Yeah.
Which I was like, Of course it would have been easier. When has the will ever made things easy, though?
Yeah.
But I did love how she explained Rand's role with the wheel. How he is the current that spins the wheel.
Yes, I really enjoyed that, and I'm pretty sure you had referenced that beforehand.
Yes, and like again, there are points where like Swan, I'm just like, we're getting the book level Swan that I loved, and same with like Lan and Rand. Oh my gosh, when you're saying those two names together can be tricky. like
Yes.
like before him going in to meet the Armelin seat where Lan is preparing him. Oh, that is straight from the book, like perfection. I'm like, this is the Lan I know and love.
Yeah.
And Rand just dipping into those sword forms so beautifully, so seamlessly, and Lan going, I see. You have been studying the sword, my friend.
Yeah. So I love that. That scene, the interaction between the two of them was so great. And then I love the advice he gives them, where he says, if you're going to use a form, use this one. And it's the sword forms being used for everyday things
Mm-hmm.
and how to position yourself and how to carry yourself in this situation. And it's in this, you're going to need to be very, whether it's this is a defensive sword form or an aggressive one, or this is a very fluid sword form. And all of that, just saying, use this sword form in this conversation, you know how to act around this person. And it is such a subtle but powerful way to instruct them on how to behave from one soldier to another, one warrior to another.
Exactly. It is a language of the soldier. It is a
Yes.
way for them to communicate and tell them like almost what situation to expect. And it's just, that is straight up from the book. It is just so beautifully done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, cause that's the thing I wish they did in season 1 was talk more about those sword forms, even if it was just like quick training Lan with the boys, because that's how it is done in the book. Is like, okay, here's a simple sword form, here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that. But for this way, the way they've done it makes perfect sense, and it's just so beautifully executed. I was just like, oh, chef's kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So
Loved.
other thing I love, so this is one thing they haven't discussed. They kind of hinted at. Well, the Armelin actually hinted at it, which I was kind of excited when she did. Well, she's like, you can be shielded from one arm. You can be shielded from one Aes Sedai. You need more training.
Yes. The
So
thing.
go.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say. So the thing about male channelers is they are extremely more powerful than female channelers.
Okay.
Like when it comes to true brute force, the
Yeah.
amount men can channel is triple that of women.
Okay.
Like, and don't get me wrong, it depends from chandler to chandler, okay? Just like using averages here. On average,
Yeah.
an average 3 Aes Sedai going up against one average male chandler, it should take them at least 3 to shield him. In the history
Oh,
books for Lews Therin, it took 6.
okay.
So whenever there's, actually I think it was even 6 or 7. That's why there's like, yeah, there's 14 Aes Sedai with the Armelin seat. And so that way
Yeah.
it's enough force to combat such a strong male channeler.
That makes sense.
So I like how they've kind of hinted at that, kind of shown that a little bit. And just, I like the Armelin seat going, oh, you're not strong enough. You're not there yet. And then episode before that, we get Logain going, okay, yeah, no, you don't need to learn waves. You got the power. Just brute force your way through it.
Yeah. One of the things I thought was really interesting is that it's something we had talked about previously, where the way that the men channel and the women channel are different.
Mm-hmm.
So different that they can't really teach each other.
Yes.
And yet the Aes Sedai are they have so much hubris that
Yes.
they're like, no, we're gonna teach them how to do it. We're gonna do this when they have no way to do it. They're not going to be able to do it.
I know. And that was the thing that irks me about Swan is she's just like, yeah, Moraine, you're supposed to be the one to teach him. You're supposed to be the one to teach him. I was like, she doesn't know how to teach male channeling.
Exactly. So that's what was going through my mind throughout that part of it all. I was like, she can't, and she's been doing what she can. I get the whole she can't restrain him because she doesn't have the one power,
Yeah.
and or she was blocked from it. She was shielded, and I thought that was really, really cool how that came into it,
Mm-hmm.
and that part of their feud was probably my favorite
Yes.
because 100% Moraine should have told her. 100% in the perspective of it's her job to keep him safe and to keep him
Safe from
controlled
himself. Yeah.
and contained.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she can't do that. She literally cannot do that. So even with her, I mean, that's her hubris or why she still did. Um, but she should have told her. And in that area where I was like, man, that confrontation, I like this part of it because that's 100% how it would be. Where this person, like, they're supposed to be working together. She lied the entire time. So now how can they trust each other?
Yeah.
And that relationship falls apart.
Mm-hmm. They start lying to each other, and yeah, no, and this is where, in one respect, I'm kind of glad I got the surprise at the end of this episode with Moraine being shielded and not stilled.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, no, Moraine was never stilled. She was never stilled. I'm like, I see what they did there. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'll eat my crow. I earned it.
Yeah, and this goes back to what we were talking about before of where women can't see men's weaves.
Yeah.
They can't they can't see it. And so no one knew, none of them knew that she was just bound, that she was just shielded and tied off, which is
Mm-hmm.
something you had talked about before about when they're on the bridge,
In the
when
ways.
in the ways. Yeah, where you're like, oh, she shielded and tied her off. It's exactly what happened, but
Mm-hmm.
with Moraine. And I was like, oh, hey, look, hey, hey.
Hey, it's mentioned there. Actually, no. Now that I'm thinking back on it, no. Leandra did not shield and tie them off. She, I think she just straight up kept on shielding them.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it was that because she's a dark friend, the dark creatures weren't attacking her because
Yeah, exactly.
that. But
That
the
is it.
conversation is
Yeah,
what I was.
conversation. Yeah, absolutely. Because I was just like, oh yeah, I may have spoiled this by accident.
You spoiled it, and we didn't spoil it at the same time.
Yeah. This is
It was
why
awesome.
that's why for me I think just knowing like having some of the knowledge is a good teaser on like what can happen, like just knowing that like again a male Chandler is stronger than a female Chandler like when it comes to just sheer amount, like I think
Yeah,
that's good information to know, and then when it gets shown you're like, oh okay, this is how they're showing it, that's fun, that's exciting. I like
yes,
saying that the information might be a tease and not a spoiler, but
yeah,
again everybody has their own different definitions of that, so
yeah. One of the things that I really liked is that all of this was Lan figuring it out.
oh yeah, I love that.
And then how he goes to Moraine at the end. As much as I don't know, I still have some things that kind of bug me about it, but I still really liked how he just went to her and goes, I'm sorry it took me so long to do my job, but I found how to fix everything. Um, just seeing how like she just starts instantly just starts crying and just like it's back, everything's back, and everything's okay now.
And for me, the biggest thing I loved with that is afterwards, you can feel that Moraine and Land, they're like, you're never going to tear these two apart now.
Nope.
And I guess that might be like the biggest pro. And again, where I'm like, okay, I'll eat my crow. Okay. Because I did complain about this. As I did like how that character development did come. Where, again, yeah, in the book, we never see this part of the relationship. But I did like how now we can see that now this bond never going to be broken. Not willingly. This bond will never be broken.
I agree.
So I like that. So then on to the other part of this. I love how Lanfear was just strolling through Kyrian, just blowing everything up.
Yes. So anyway, we started blasting.
Yep, that Lanfear embodied that meme. Just anyway, I started blasting my way through Kyrian. I'm gonna be throwing memes on this video.
Please do.
But no, just she started blasting through everything, and this is where I loved. Like, we see Rand playing both sides. He's playing both sides against each other. He's playing the Aes Sedai. It's very much like, you know, who's actually going to get me out? Is it going to be Lanfear and the Forsaken? Because they're going to take me to Falma, where I want to go. Or is it going to be the Aes Sedai, who currently have me imprisoned? I'm gonna put my bets on the Forsaken right now. So come get me. And then that's when Moraine's play gets put into play. I was like, okay, I'm going with the Aes Sedai. You know, Lanfear, thank you for keeping them distracted. I'm going to go this way. You can go that way. You can go meow. I'm going to go meow.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then at the very end where Lanfear's actually, okay, so before Lanfear gets there, then Swan, Moraine, yeah, that entire thing goes down. Their relationship crumbles. They become exes. Hearts are broken. Tears are shed. Lanfear comes in, saves the day.
Yep.
And takes them off to Falma.
Spears are broken. Shields are shaken.
Knees are weak. Arms are heavy.
Vomit on the sweater already.
Mom
Land
spaghetti.
spaghetti.
Land spaghetti.
You're welcome.
If we ever have like t-shirts, we're going to just get a picture of Land eating spaghetti.
Yes. Merch link in bio.
We don't got merch. We broke.
I don't.
But yeah, that's how the episode ends.
Yeah, I think it's a great place to put that back on the shelf, and we'll pick it up next time.
Yeah, next time, season finale. We are excited, and we will catch you guys then.
Bye.